Hi everyone, it's Sam, NFTstatistics, and this is your proof daily NFT countdown. Let's not lie. Let's not beat around the bush. It is shitcoin season. Absolutely crazy parabolic charts like we haven't seen in a long time. We're going to look at those. We're also going to talk about Opepen. There's really just not much art sales happening, but I'll talk about one sale. We'll get into it. Let's see. Let's go. Let's try to make this a little faster than normal. I know you guys got your weekend to go after. Here we go. First thing to talk about, market overview. Volumes down again. Users down again, kind of back towards the low end of the user range we've had before. I keep saying this, but I think gas has a lot to do with it. I mean, you have these double things going on of interest in NFTs waning and gas going through the roof. And it just makes, buying an NFT, paying $100 in gas all the less attractive. So you're seeing users go down pretty sharply. Looking at those gas fees, again, yesterday it was over 0.021 ETH just to buy an NFT on Blur. Right now, I tried buying one this morning, looked into it, 0.06 ETH, $115, just to have the right to spend a lot of money on a JPEG. I remember, when I was thinking back to the bull market, I was thinking, geez, I remember we spent $70 on gas for every transaction. We're not going to do that again. But here we are, and people aren't doing it again, and users are going down very, very sharply. Why is gas so high? PEPE went through the roof, up another 100%. Versus yesterday. Why is that? Beeple wrote about it. Nice little image by Beeple. Just kidding though. That's not why PEPE is completely pumping. It's that Binance just announced that they're going to be adding PEPE and Floki to their exchange. I think they have some innovation exchange. I guess PEPE is the innovation coin of the day. But you add it to Binance, that just has a massive impact. There's so many people who don't use Uniswap, who don't really understand kind of the dynamic of going fully kind of onto these decentralized exchanges. You put it onto a Binance and suddenly you have millions and millions of more users who can buy it up. So we're just seeing the price completely pump on the back of that. We also saw Turbo pump a little bit. We talked about Turbo. Just for full disclosure, I personally own none of them. I got a few people on my wall yesterday, on my feed yesterday, saying, oh, you must be a paid Turbo shill. Anybody who follows my show knows that could not be further from the case. I don't get paid. I get a salary, but I've never gotten paid an advertising dollar in my entire life. Certainly not in NFTs. That's not going to change because of Turbo. I just thought it was an interesting story. Just letting you all know that because you guys are my loyal viewers. I appreciate you. So I'm just like this guy here. I'm sitting here on the ground, no money in these things, looking up at the guys who are making tons of profit, saying, don't get wrecked. Good luck to all you, but I'm sitting there on the ground, no exposure to any of it. Looking at the large cap index, it was down about 1% to 2%. Mid cap index was really weak. I think it was down about 5%. I've said this. I think with these mid caps, you're losing that Blur bid because they've gone from 2x to 1x points. They're not going on Blend anytime soon. So I think this is going to be a rough stretch here for a lot of these projects as you have to start getting out some of the airdrop farmers that are along a lot of your projects. CryptoPunks were weak. The bids fell below 50 ETH. I think this is super important because CryptoPunks was a project that got a nice little boost. The floor went from, 50 to 54 on the back of Blend. All these people buying on leverage. And now those people started to unwind their position and we're back below where we were a week ago before Blend started. The reason I think this is important is because right now there are a lot of projects that are getting ready for Blend and, people are buying ahead of that thinking that Blend is going to lead to these massive pumps. And, I think that positioning is already happening though. And I think when the people who are looking to put on that trade realize that Azukis and CryptoPunks have both fallen pretty sharply from their peaks, I just think there's gonna be a lot less interest in that trade. We will see, curious to see how it plays out. In terms of art projects, really not a whole lot of volume here at all. Memories of Chi-Lin had 3 trades. Other than that, everything else did less than 10 ETH of volume. What were some of the bigger trades? Memories of Chi-Lin sold for 4.2 ETH. Another one sold for 3.9 ETH. But that floor is now up to about 4.6. Chromie Squiggle, this was the only Squiggle sale of the day, sold for 8.32. Here you have a Meridian, which sold for 5.45 ETH. That's a project where the floor seems to be creeping lower. And then a Fontana by Harvey Rayner Pattern.co sold for 2.3 ETH. So a couple sales, but really not a whole lot to get too excited about on the Art Block sales section. Second thing I want to talk about, Opepen Editions. And I think what's interesting here is that the Opepens, which were all the same for, basically since they launched, are now going to start getting their own art. Jack outlined the process by which that will happen. I think it's super cool. This is kind of a nice image displaying it. You had the original Opepen art there in the beginning, and it's going to convert into something new, some new format that still takes that Opepen kind of shape. And it's all just going to be different and unique as their kind of final PFP. A little bit about the details here is that each Opepen style launches in packs of 80. Okay. And each pack of 80 has to have an edition of 40, of 20, of 10, of 5, of 4, and of 1. Okay, so in each pack, there is a 1 of 1 that presumably will have unique value. There will be 200 packs in total, so there's 16,000 Opepens. And basically, Jack's going to preview the art, and holders can opt in if there are 160 people interested. So as long as everything is 2x oversubscribed, it goes live, and they'll randomly, I believe randomly, decide who gets which, who gets involved and who doesn't. Just trying to put some pictures behind that because it's all kind of confusing. Here's an example of Jack did the first pack. So the first and the second packs are out in the wild. The first one was Jack's, and he just did like a very kind of basic color format of the Opepen. And I think this was just like the classic art that they wanted to launch with, kind of go to the roots for that first pack. Because it's the first pack, of course it has provenance, in every single edition size, people opted in and wanted to buy it. Now let's have a look at what the Jack edition of 40 looked like. And it was just these very basic ones where each Opepen had one color. Okay, so that was the 40. They're all unique, but each one had the same color template. Now, if you look at the 1 of 1 within his collection, which is currently bid at 2.55 ETH and probably worth a ton more because this is the 1 of 1 for collection number 1 for a 16,000 NFT project. This one has different color patterns across each of the blocks, and that's what made this the 1 of 1. If we look at pack 2, pack 2, the editions of 40 all look the same. So a little bit different from the last one. That one in the upper left, which you can see here, is the 1 of 1. That one also has a 2.5 ETH bid on it. Now, in terms of who gets what, how do you know if you're going to get a 1 of 1, a 1 of 2, or a 1 of 1, a 1 of 4, a 1 of 5? Well, that stuff has already been determined. Okay, every Opepen that in its initial format, when they were all the same, basically Jack gave each of them a ranking. Are you a 1 of 1? Are you a 1 of 4? Or 1 of 5? And the way that was decided was based on how many checks you had in the wallet. The more checks you had, the more it was still a random process, but the more checks you had, the higher likely you had of pulling, a 1 of 1 over or a 1 of 4. So kind of interesting process. If you look at the 1 of 1s that have not been yet converted to art, you can see that the floor for them is 3.9 ETH. Okay, and that compares to an Opepen floor, which I believe right now is below 0.3 ETH. So kind of interesting stuff here from Jack. Very curious to see how these new ones play out, what this new art's going to look like. I think it's going to be fun to follow along as we get more and more packs, get more and more art, see if people feel connected to the different packs that pop out. Always just cool innovation, cool storytelling from Jack. So this is no exception. Last thing to talk about, notable sales. I'm not going to lie. There were not a lot of notable sales over the past 24 hours. I was looking at the Super Rare bot on Twitter. Basically, for the first time, there were fewer than 5 sales on Super Rare on that Super Rare bot on Twitter. Fewer than 5 sales over 24 hours. I've never seen anything like it. But I think one of the things that's happening is not only is like the PFP movement struggling. We've talked about how art blocks liquidity is going down. 1 of 1 art is also going down pretty substantially in terms of liquidity. But let's talk about a sale. This is a great opportunity to talk about a piece that sold for 1 ETH because I think it's really cool. It's called The Righteous by Kid Crayon. Kind of just like an interesting piece, cool colors. I appreciate it. The artist says he's a cross-discipline artist and programmer exploring his love for portraiture, poetry, landscape, and abstract art. The artist's name is actually Ash White. The handle is Kid Crayon, and he recently launched this. It's called Selected Works 2023, and you get an NFT and a signed print for purchasing it on Super Rare, 1 ETH each. And here is a list of the 8 others that are available, or the 7 others that are available. 1 already sold, but I think that's pretty cool. That's the only thing I got for you today. It was just a slow day. We'll be back on Monday. I am sure a ton will happen over the weekend. Good luck to everyone who's playing that PEPE game. Good luck to everyone who's playing that Turbo game. Good luck to everyone who's airdrop farming. Good luck to all you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be back soon. If you like the video, like it below, subscribe to the channel, tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon.